This is the Star Wars The Black Series gaming greats from the video game Star Wars The Old Republic. We have Darth Malgus. This is a deluxe figure, hence the bigger packaging. Probably lots more accessories. Oh no, he only has a cape and sword, so no idea why it's a deluxe figure, but okay. I picked up this figure from Big Bad Toy Store, and if you're in Manila and you're wondering how much it costs to ship it, the figure was listed at $35 on the website, so I picked it up, and there was an additional $8 for shipping to the Philippines. It got here, I checked the app, and the item was already here in the Philippines September 6th. It took 10 days for customs to clear it. It got delivered to my place, but September 16th, and customs asked for an extra $5 or $4 extra as, I don't know, customs clearing fee, whatever. So there's an additional $12 on top of the listed price of $35. So you do the math, that's how much it costs to purchase this figure if you live in Manila at Big Bad Toy Store. Let's get this bad boy out of packaging. And here is Darth Malgus out of the box. And boy, man, this figure is something else. If the promo pictures of this figure impressed you, you will be blown away having this figure in hand, because this figure delivered on all fronts. Absolutely an amazing sculpt, fantastic detail. I mean, the figure is like supersized Black Series figure. The articulation could use a little bit of work, but overall, just a massive, very, very impressive Black Series figure from the Gaming Greats line. Man, I am so glad I purchased this figure. Let's take a close look at the details of this new Darth Malgus figure. So this is how you know how good a figure is. If he's in this plain vanilla, or what we call over here in Manila a museum pose. If you have him in this pose and he's already giving you goosebumps, you know this is a good figure. I mean, come on. Look at this guy. Just having him in a standing pose, he just looks incredible. I mean, just look at the details. I don't know how accurate this gray color plastic is to the game. I mean, I've checked some of the screen caps and I've seen some of the videos. It kind of looks accurate, but I'm not 100% sure how accurate it is. I think it could be a little bit, like they could have put a little bit more shading in it and maybe a little bit more detail in the gray plastic, but it looks pretty good to me. I love the dark gray highlights here and there. He's got this really cool chest piece that's been molded into the poldron. The poldron is actually glued on. I'm not sure if mine is glued on properly. It's stuck on this chest, so there's no way you can move it. So I think on mine it's a little bit skewed, just a little bit on one side. I'm not sure how to fix that, but it's super glued on, and I'm fine. I'm not gonna touch it. He comes with a ton of detail, sculpted detail. Look at the boots. I mean, come on. It's nice glossy paint on the armor, on the belt, the gauntlets. I mean, come on, look at that. Just remarkably sculpted. And I think what sells this figure the most is this beautiful, this badass head sculpt. Look at that. There are some soft goods used for the cape and the cowl. The cowl has been sort of sewed in or stapled or super glued or somewhat onto the poldron, so you can't really move the cowl. That kind of hinders the posability of the, not really hinders, but you can still move the head. There's no question about that. But because the cowl is there, the cowl doesn't swivel along with the head. When you swivel the neck off to the side, you'll get some covered parts of the head like that, and it's not gonna look good in the photo, and the cowl doesn't move it with the head sculpt, but that's fine because it's stuck on. You get to retain the cowl shape. It doesn't look wonky like some of the previous Black Series figures we've had, so I'll take that. Okay, let me just pull the cowl back a little bit so you can appreciate this gorgeous head sculpt. He's got this mouthpiece. I think the mouthpiece is separate, and if you wanted to, I think if you popped off the head, you can remove the mouthpiece, but I'm not doing that. I don't want to risk ruining the figure. So you can move the head slightly off to the side so you can reveal that sculpt. And I mean, come on. Look at that scarred face. It's pretty accurate to the game. And those dead eyes. Beautifully, beautifully sculpted and beautifully painted. Man. Just a wonderful, wonderful sculpt. Okay, let me put it back. Okay. So yeah. Okay, also I did notice that the shoulder pads, or the shoulder pauldrons, they're on rings, just much like what we're seeing now with the new Stormtroopers, some of the Marvel Legends figures. You can actually swivel these things and rotate them 360 together with the shoulder or arm rotation, so they don't get in the way. And even if you move the arms outward, the shoulders don't really get deformed or get warped or anything like that. So I think they did a wonderful sculpt on that. As far as articulation goes, the neck is on a ball joint. It's a double ball joint. It's a ball joint up here and a ball joint at the bottom. I don't know. Oh, there's also a ball joint at the base of the neck, so it's a triple ball joint. The torso is pretty interesting. I was expecting an ab crunch right here, but you've got a ball jointed waist and a ball jointed midsection. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that. I would have preferred an ab crunch, much like what we got with some of the newer Marvel Legends figures, but I think that would have ruined the sculpt of the torso, so okay. The shoulders, they go in and out, forward and backward 360, like I've shown earlier. There is no bicep swivel, but the elbow is on a swivel hinge. You can swivel it 360, and there's a 90-degree bend. Double jointed elbows would have been preferred, but then again, like I said, they probably did some compromises so that they don't ruin the sculpt of the arm. Wrists have swivels. This one goes in and out on a hinge. This one goes up and down on a hinge because this is the hand that holds the lightsaber. The hips are in ball joints. For a while, I thought they were going to be drop-down ball joints, much like we see with the classified series G.I. Joe figures, but they're not. They've just carved out a huge chunk of that pelvis area so that you can have him do the splits. That's a great range of motion for something like this. You can also move forward, backward, albeit at an angle. There is no thigh cut. I was a little bit disappointed with that, and again, they had to do that kind of compromise to preserve the sculpt of the leg. The knees, they're not on double joints. Would have been nice if they were in double joints. They have a swivel and a hinge. No boot cut. Ankles, great range of motion actually. They go up and down, and they have the rocker tilt. So articulation could use some work, but then they had to compromise articulation, a lot of the articulation, to give us a fantastic sculpt. So the figure comes with his iconic lightsaber hilt, a very thick, translucent plastic blade, which you can remove. It's a little tight, so be careful. Semi-flared peg. The hilt, I think it's pretty accurate. I just wish they could have painted it more metallic if I'm going to critique it. But it's a very, very good sculpt. And what I like about the hilt is that it's not done in that gummy, soft PVC plastic, but rather done in this hard, sturdy plastic. Head to toe, the figure stands at about 18 centimeters tall, or about 7 1/8 inches tall. And for comparisons, here he is with a bunch of other Sith Lords. We have obviously the Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader. We've got Darth Revan, Darth Malak, and Darth Nihilus at the end. And I think I'm gonna have to change my vote on Darth Malak, because if you remember in my review of Malak, I thought he was like the figure of the year, biggest Star Wars bad guy figure we've had, but I think he's the winner right now. He's probably the biggest, tallest, most massive bad guy character in the Black Series we've had, at least in a long time. And I think he's now dethroned Darth Malak as figure of the year. And so some final thoughts on this Black Series Darth Malgus figure. Boy, this figure is absolutely amazing. I'm going to say it right now. I think I'm going to give this figure an 11 out of 10. Despite my critique on his articulation, I think Hasbro did a wonderful job with the sculpt on this figure. The size, the scale of this figure, fantastic. Details such as the lightsaber, the soft goods for the cape and the cowl, and that amazing head sculpt. The body sculpt with his armor, the paint apps, the sculpting on his legs and his arms, just all contribute to a more than perfect figure. And as such, I think it deserves an 11 out of 10. Now, if you haven't been collecting the Black Series figures in a long time and you're trying to get back in, this is the perfect figure to get you right back in the game, because this figure will blow you away. Now, if you've been collecting the Black Series figures for a long time, you've been a hardcore collector, this figure will absolutely blow you away. You'll find this figure as being one of the most impressive figures that Hasbro's ever come up with for the line. And like I said earlier, I think this gets my vote for Figure of the Year for the Black Series line. Just an amazing, fantastic, really badass figure. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this Star Wars The Black Series gaming greats from the video game Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Darth Malgus. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.